Hi there, welcome back. If you're looking for an engagement ring and you've been scrolling through the red gemstones, you've probably seen two names pop up a lot, ruby and spinel. They look almost exactly the same, but the price tag can be very different. Today I'm breaking down the real differences between the ruby and spinel. No gem expert knowledge needed to understand this video. We will talk looks, durability, price, and which one actually better for your ring. Let's get into it. Let's start with the underdog, spinel. If you haven't heard of it, you're not alone. Many people haven't. Spinel is a completely natural gemstone and it has been around forever. For centuries, it was mistaken for rubies. Even in the royal crowns, famous rubies turn out to be spinels. The most famous example is the Black Princess ruby in the British crown jewel. It's not a ruby at all. It's actually very nice red spinel. It wasn't until 1800 that scientists figure out spinel and the ruby are completely different stones. So no, spinel isn't fake, synthetic, or lab-made. It forms naturally underground just like ruby does. Visually, spinels can be just as red and just as eye-catching, and when it's well cut, it often looks very bright and crisp. Now ruby. Ruby is a part of the gem family called corundum. When corundum is red, we call it ruby. If it's any other color like blue or green, it becomes sapphire. And by the way, I have the separate videos on both sapphires and rubies. Check them out. Ruby's been treasured for thousands of years. It's known as the stone of love, passion, and power, which makes it natural pick for engagement ring. Visually, ruby often reads as deep, warm crimson with soft velvet feel that many people find incredibly romantic. Let's compare this to the way you will experience them in the real life, starting with the color and sparkle. Ruby usually shows a deep, warm crimson, and the best stones can look like they glow a little in the daylight. Spinel often leans raspberry or cherry, and when it's well cut, it looks crisp and bright. Here's the important part. Sparkle is driven far more by the cut, clarity, and polish than by the gem species, primarily by the cut. A top cut, a clear spinel would outspark a sleepy ruby, and a well-cut ruby will outspark a poorly cut spinel. So everything depends on the cut itself. When you compare stones, look for a sharp facet reflections, minimal haze under the table, and mirror-like polishing. That's all very important. Now clarity. Think of the tiny natural birthmark inside of the gem. Rubies commonly have more visible inclusion. That's normal for a ruby and it's part of its character, but inclusions can sometimes soften the look or reduce that crisp mirror-like reflection. Spinels are often clean to the eye. When a spinel is both clean and well cut, it tends to look bright and glassy and very lively. You might also notice fluorescence, basically how a stone reacts to UV light in sunlight or under certain lamps. If your stone does, you will see an extra vivid pop in a bright condition. Not every gem fluorescence, and the effect vary by the stone and by the origin, so treat it as the pleasant bonus rather than a requirement. Let's talk durability, because this is an engagement ring and you will wear it every day. Ruby is 9 out of 10 on the Mohs scale, extremely hard and proven everyday performance. Spinel is 8 out of 10, also durable stones for daily wear. Neither ruby nor spinel has natural break lines, which gemologists call cleavage. That means the usual ring setting, prong, halo, or basil are all perfectly fine for both stones. If you are very rough on your hands, ruby has a smaller edge. Let's say you climbing or going to the gym all the time or doing a lot of outdoor sports. If you're reasonably careful, spinel holds up great too. Treatments are common in the colored gems. They are not automatically bad, but they must be disclosed because they affect the price and sometimes durability. In rubies, heat treatment to improve color or clarity, very common and widely accepted. Some rubies are diffused, meaning the color has been modified at a very high temperature. That should be disclosed right away in the certification. There is also lead glass filling, which fills surface reaching cracks to make the stone looks clear. Lead glass fills rubies can look attractive, but they more fragile and not ideal for lifetime ring. So I recommend avoid lead glass filled rubies at least for the engagement ring. In Spinel, a lot of the stones are sold untreated. That's one of the Spinel's big selling points. Heated Spinels exist and other treatments are possible, though they are less common. The takeaway is simple. Always ask about the treatment and confirm with the lab report. Since we mentioned reports, let's talk about them. Ask for independent report from a reputable lab. Examples: GIA, AGL, GRS, Jubilin, and lots of gemology and few other local ones as well. Here's what to look for. First of all, identity. The report should say natural corundum rubies or natural spinel. If you want a natural stone, avoid anything labeled synthetic, man-made, anything else. Second, treatment. For ruby, look for unheated or heated and avoid lead glass filled for an engagement ring. For spinels, no indication of treatment is ideal. If the stone is treated, the report should state exactly what was done. Third one is the origin, although this is optional. You might see countries like Myanmar, Mozambique, Tanzania, Sri Lanka, even Tajikistan. Only pay extra for origin if it's matter to you. Origin can influence the price, but not durability. Also, very importantly, verify the report. Use the report number or QR code on the lab website to confirm it matches your stone. Usually there is a number on the certificate and you can go to their website and verify it very quickly. If you want a full deep dive into the lab and how origin is determined, I have the separate video that walks through the certification step by step. Check it out. Now price with the real world ranges in a 1 or 2 carat range with a strong red color and independent lab report. That's majority of the stones that we use for engagement ring. Untreated rubies, often from Mozambique today, commonly list around $1,000 to $12,000 per carat, depending on the color and a lot of other things. With select stones, higher when color is exceptional or origin is the premium. Fine red spinels, similar size, think Tanzania, Vietnam, or Burma, often list around $1,000 to $4,000 per carat, with standout pieces reaching $10,000 per carat or more. At the very top end, large top quality red spinels can sell for roughly a tenth of equivalent of ruby. So the gap widens as the size and the quality goes up. Pricing always shifts with the color saturation, clarity, cutting, treatment status. Unheated rubies get a premium. Origin and the seller, so use these numbers as calibration, not a promise. So for most 1 to 2 carat engagement ring stones, expect an unheated ruby to cost roughly 2 to 4 times as much per carat as the fine red spinel of a similar look, with a bigger gaps at the very top of the end. To recap, let's put it all together with a quick choosing guide. If you love a classic name, the deep romantic red, the heritage, and the symbolism of love, passion, and power, you will be thrilled with the ruby ring. If you want a vivid red look that often unheated, you like that crisp and lively face-up appearance, and you prefer a friendlier price, you should take a serious look at the spinel. In either case, ask for the lab report, check the treatment lines, and choose the stone that you personally like, the one that resonates with you. That's the very important. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.